Good evening, everyone. We're going to call to order this August 21st meeting of the Gallatin City Council. It is 6 o'clock exactly, and we'll begin like we do each meeting with the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Fennell's not with us this evening, so Councilman Hayes, I'm going to ask you to lead us in the pledge, and Councilman Alexander is going to offer our invocation. If you will stand with me, please.
Let every heart pray. Eternal gracious God, once again, we come to say thank you for another opportunity to see one of your blessed days that you've allowed us to see. We thank you for this council and all that it stands for, and I pray, oh God, that we continue to do your will, your way. In the mighty and precious name of Jesus, we do pray. Bless the sick, the bereaved, and everywhere. And thank you, dear Lord, for sending Steve Kemp back to the meeting. In Jesus' name, I do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me to pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. I'm going to ask now for Ms. Kittrell to call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Overton.
Present.
Mr. Alexander.
Present.
Mr. Camp.
Present.
Mr. Fennell is absent. Mr. Hayes.
Present.
Ms. Love. Here. Mr. Mayberry.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Before you have the meetings of the July 17th, 2018 council meeting. Have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Overton, a second by Councilman Alexander. Ms. Love, are there any corrections or additions?
None that I've noticed.
Wonderful. Anyone else? Any other discussion? With that, all in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye. Opposed, say no. The minutes are approved. Now is the time of meeting where we have public recognition on agenda-related items. If you're here this evening and there's an item on this evening's agenda that you'd like to address or discuss, now would be the time to do that. The proper procedure would be for you to come to the podium, introduce yourself, give us your address, and then you may speak. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes, and we welcome you forward at this time. Public recognition on agenda-related items is now open.
All right, number one on the agenda. Talk to the mic if you will.
Okay.
Yes, and give us your name and address, please.
Name and address.
All right, my name's Shannon Rogers. I live at 151 Jocelyn Avenue, Gallatin. We're here concerned, number one on your agenda list here, the 321 West Main Street, Randy's Record Shop problem that exists, let's put it that way. I think the city attorney has a letter from the owner stating that I can speak for them or on their behalf or something of that nature. Is that true? Okay. We would like to ask the council for a 30-day extension on this, so we've got time to let some things play themselves out. A lot of events have happened since this property was basically our concept, our plans, and what we would like to proceed with. If you'll look at it, you'll see it's pretty detailed in a few areas that I should obviously say that we know a little bit about what we're doing. We have a good plan that's executable. We feel like that it can be put in place in a reasonable amount of time. Some of that in the first part does address the issues that the city has with what instigated their condemnation order. We think we can have that taken care of, but obviously it is not done, and this is the end of the 15 days. We can't do anything until certain things are put in place. Legalities have to take place over all of our wishes. available for questions or whatever you might have, and we can kind of go from there. The program speaks for itself. I don't think we want to take up the council's time in going into a lot of detail unless you've looked at it and you have some questions about it. And I'll put it to that point at this time. No questions. All right. Wait a minute.
Yep. Johnny Griffin, 657 North Water Avenue. We're up here tonight again. We want to see this project completed. Shannon and myself, I have worked on this now for a month, and we work 7 days a week. And there's some procedures that we have to wait on before we can proceed. And one of them, we need this stay of at least 15 days, because you want 30 days. And then, and a possibility of more. I mean, if you look at the papers he has given you, we have good plan ahead to save this building. And we feel like that we can accomplish this plan, but we need time. We need time and money. You know, we have the ambition to do this, and we're putting heart and soul in this. Like I said, we want to see this done for this city. This will be the biggest draw that this city could ever have. And if we work it right, it won't cost the city a dime. And that's what we're asking for, and we appreciate you considering it. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them, or Shannon.
Can I say one more thing on the technical end of this? There may be a few of you that know me. I'm retired. I've been retired almost 10 years. I spent almost 50 years in the A&E and in construction business. I know an awful lot about buildings. I've saved a lot of buildings in this town and other places all over this country. I think probably what we're going to do, and I've been kind of given a heads up that maybe you guys are going to give us some time here and let us meet with our engineers, and we're going to get you a letter stating that you know, the building is not going to fall and kill anybody. That's virtually impossible. And you know, just you may not have any engineering or architecture or building background, but you got two walls sitting here that are pulling inward. They're not pushing outward at all. All of the indications down there that the walls that are standing there are very substantial, and we want them to stay that way. So we're going to do everything we can as we get into this thing once it can be purchased to preserve those walls, and we've got a plan for that. We will get whatever the city requires us to have, if you know, within reason, that we can possibly do. But all of these things take time. An engineering report alone, you know, the engineer, if he's any good, is going to ask for at least 4 or 5 days, because he's got to study some things and look at some stuff. We took a drone and flew over this building and down in that collapsed roof. We know what happened to the building. It got a leaking roof and no one fixed it. The leaking roof rotted out the wood structure that's below it, and even the floor below that, because it was leaking down on that. All that's wood. And that wood beam that goes across to the middle of this building finally just had all it could take, and it broke into and collapsed, pulling everything inward. Doesn't look as if there's any more damage to the roof, and doesn't look as if there is any more rot in the roof. And we flew around the perimeter of the building, all 4 walls, looking straight down on it. I think you have a copy of that video. And you can look down, those walls are perfectly plumb, square. They're not damaged in any way. There's a few little temperature cracks and stuff that's in the walls that's probably been there for 50 years or so. You know, the walls, they're not falling down. They're not going to harm anyone. I understand that, you know, now I'm a lay person and I've been through this many times. You can't just, or maybe you can, it's up to you. You're a governing body, you can do whatever you want to do. Had I still been in business, we'd be standing here with engineers, architects, and construction reports that says there's nothing to be afraid of about this building. You can see on our program there, we don't intend to let the construction people even go inside this building until we have properly secured those exterior walls. And that means that we're going to reinforce them with steel and concrete like we do today. They didn't do back then. And that way, you literally would have to have an army tank to knock them over if it could do it. And they will stand on their own from now on out. So, anyway, we'll leave that to you guys, and hopefully we can get a good outcome here in a little while. Thank you.
And thank you for letting us speak.
Well, may I ask one question, and we may have more when we get to that item on the
Okay.
agenda. This is really an appropriate time for Q&A, but did you say you were working with an engineer to get a report and it's going to take a few days?
We haven't talked with him. I haven't been able to reach him. He's been in the field all day.
Okay, all
We
right.
have a list of professionals that we've already talked with that have agreed to work with us. And Wallace Engineering, Jordan Wallace, who's here in town, good structural engineer. He's met us down at the building. We've looked at these things. I've talked to him. Down there, he understood exactly where we was coming from. I understood where he was coming from. And most of that I've conveyed to you guys tonight. When a building implodes, it doesn't explode. It just pulls itself on in. The chance of that happening is going to be years on down the road because what's there is protected from the weather, and it's still good lumber. Back over on that side where it's still kind of coming up on the building a little bit.
Okay, I was just curious about
I'd
the,
like to say one thing. Some of them were concerned that the back of this building was on the creek. A back portion of that building was added on. We intend to tear that down. So that's going to get it further away from the creek. And that won't affect the main building of Randy's Record Shop. So that will help ease the concern
Okay.
of the water and the back of the building. So we're going to eliminate that.
okay, thank you, gentlemen. We may need some more from you during the discussion of the item, but for public comment.
Okay,
I think
thank you.
we've worn out your cumulative 10 minutes. Anyone else wishing to speak tonight under public recognition, we'd welcome you forward at this time. Okay, I see no one indicating they wish to speak, so we will declare public recognition on agenda-related items closed. Moving now to mayor's comments. I do have just a couple of things to talk to you about. I don't see a list of events in here, but you all should have that. Oh, there it is. Yes, very importantly, James Fenton's birthday is this Thursday. Thursdays on the Square continue with Antique Walk this Thursday evening. This Friday night, it's the Station Camp versus Gallatin High School Mayor's Cup football game. Hope you can join us for that. They're playing at Station Camp this year. Classic Car Cruise In will be again this weekend. And Miss Gallatin Scholarship Pageant is happening this Sunday at Gallatin High School. So that's just in the next several days. We hope that you will find something great to participate in, which leads me into a great opportunity to mention the Fire on the Water event this past weekend. We've had really very positive feedback from those who attended and experienced the festival, either from the water or from the park. It was really well-organized, entertaining. Jimmy's over there laughing. Okay, what do you want to say, Vice Mayor Overton? Oh, come on, say something.
Not one thing, it was a well-attended event, thank you.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, ma'am, I enjoyed
You're
it.
still worn out from it, like
That's
me,
exactly
right?
right.
Yes, I think.
It was a long day.
I think Vice Mayor Overton and I spent about 18 hours there Saturday, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun and just a really, really neat event from Gallatin. Everybody that we spoke to that attended said they hope we do it again next year. So in a few weeks, we'll be coming back to this council with information to discuss doing it again next year.
I just want to say thank you to all the department heads. Every single one of them had something to do with it, and
They did.
it couldn't have not have happened without the department heads. It
Absolutely,
couldn't have
and I will be specific. Police and fire, you had a tremendous presence there all day. Public Works, oh my goodness, your folks were awesome. And Parks and Recreation, thank you for all that y'all did to support the event. Just amazing participation. I think GPU loaned us a generator, and I mean, we had help from everybody, and we're so appreciative, and we're going to need it even more if we do it again. So thank you all, and thanks to all the volunteers. Thank you to the organizers. Jeff Henschel, Darren Reynolds, Kim Baker primarily, and a slew of great volunteers and great participation from the community, so thank you. And then the most exciting thing that I think I've ever gotten to say to this council, of course I emailed you yesterday because we were so excited, is we were successful in receiving the local Parks and Recreation grant for the Miracle Field. So we've received that grant for $500,000, which gets us a big step closer to making the Miracle Park become a reality at Triple Creek. So I'm very, very pleased with that. With that, we're going to move to the regular agenda. I am going to ask this council if we could move item 15 up, I think it'll be a fairly quick discussion, and that will allow some folks that have been coming here quite frequently lately to make an early exit. It's about the health, vision, and dental insurance. Would that be okay with this council to move that on up? Okay, that would put you on the hot seat, Mr. Alexander.
I love the hot seat.
All right, this is Resolution R1808-50. Councilman Alexander?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is a resolution awarding high health, vision, and dental insurance contract for the city of Gallatin and payment of employment dental premium, and I so move.
I have a motion by Councilman Alexander, a second by Councilwoman Love. Is there any discussion of this? Any questions? Okay, seeing none, this is Resolution R1808-50. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. It does pass unanimously. Now that leads us back to item number 1 on the agenda, which is the 321 West Main Street imminent danger, dangerous building order. And for that, I'm going to ask Mr. Chuck Stewart to come to the stand and Ms. Hy McCauley to take over for a minute.
Okay, well, I will just first comment and say that the council is the one that asked, you asked that this be placed back on the agenda tonight, so it is on the agenda and it's up to this council. Currently, there is an imminent dangerous order that is standing, and there are 4 days left, I believe, in that order until that order expires. So it's up to this council. I did receive a letter late yesterday from the owner of the building requesting some additional time. They're trying to negotiate a sale of the building at 321 West Main Street. They said they are hopeful they can complete the sale within 15 days or 30 days. The only thing that I would add is that, you have deemed it an imminently dangerous building at this point, and we've heard comments tonight refuting that. So it would be my recommendation that this body get a report from a structural engineer so that we really know the exact status of that building. And I have spoken with an engineer that the city has used in the past, and he said he thought he could get a report to us by the next council committee meeting. He does charge $105 an hour. It's Richard Jones. He charges $105 an hour and estimated it would take at least 8 to 10 hours to get a report done. So I don't know how the council wants to move with that, if that's something that the city wants to pay for. But that is, my recommendation, regardless of the payment, that we do get some kind of report from someone so we can ensure the safety of everyone, so we know what's going on out there.
I got a question. I mean, I don't have a problem with us. I guess what would be our procedure if we wanted to extend this? Just extend it, or what?
I would think it would be okay to ask, those interested in purchasing it or the owner to provide us with said report.
No, that's what I was getting at on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
And so next week we have a work session, so we continue it till then, and by then we should have a report, and then we can continue it, based on that report, make that determination.
Well, we've only got, how many days do we have?
What you need to do, what you would have to do is, someone would need to make a motion to reconsider what you've already adopted, or to amend your previously adopted order. And you would need to come up with a time frame to get an engineer's report in, and you need to determine tonight probably how many days you want to give for the extension. You can always extend it more if you get a report saying that they think that it's, the building is not in danger of collapse. You can always grant an additional extension of time.
When's our next council meeting?
Next council meeting would be 2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks?
September
So-
7th?
Yeah, so I mean, I would be willing to do
Is that 2
that if
weeks?
the body's willing to do that.
I'd like to hear from
Mr.
my building
Stewart.
code. Have you,
I'd
have
like to
your
hear from
thoughts
Mr.
changed
Stewart
on it?
first.
Hold on a minute, we're discussing this, what?
I'd like to hear from Mr. Stewart first.
Yeah, right.
Okay, no, that's fine, I was just saying, yeah. but-
Once, according to the code, according to the law that you adopted, once a building is deemed imminently dangerous, then the liability for that building now falls on you, the council, and what you voted on, okay? I'm not a structural engineer, and I'm not as confident as these two gentlemen seem to be about this building. I mean, the World Trade Center wasn't supposed to collapse. So we're looking out for the citizens of the city. I'm thinking if someone wants to purchase this building, they ought to be buying a liability insurance policy to cover anything that did happen down there during that time period. And it would take a structural engineer to take a good look at that building. We don't know how those walls were built. I know they built good back then, but we don't know, because the building was built, and then the building that's there now was built around the building, and the interior building was taken away. So there were no codes at that time, no one was looking. So we don't know what happened down there. So I can't put my reputation out there that the building will stand. I wouldn't say that. The way our ordinance reads, once you voted, it now belongs to this council. So it's a decision that you're going to have to make.
Vice Mayor Overton?
Mayor, I'm willing to give them a little bit of time as long as we have a structural engineer that tells us this building's safe, as Susan said. So I'll step out there and make a motion, and if it's not the proper motion, Susan, you tell me. I'll give them the 2 weeks as long as 1 week from tonight, we have a letter in our hand from a structural engineer that says this building is safe.
Do you want to make, I mean, you said 2
We
weeks.
have a motion, no second, so no discussion yet.
Yeah.
I'm giving them 2 weeks because that's the next council meeting. And we'd have, for us to vote on it, for us to vote to extend it, we'd have to do it at council meeting, correct, Susan? So that's why I said 2 weeks. But as long as we have that letter within 7 days.
But
from
you're only
today.
giving them 7 days, but I mean, if they
Well,
don't have it
I'm
next
giving them-
time,
If we don't have it in 7 days, then our
Well, you have to give them more than, I think you'd have to give them
right,
the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
right.
Right, because they could come in at day 8 or 9. You
Right.
can't vote anything till the following
yeah,
week
that's
anyway.
what I'm saying. So-
But I want to see that structural engineer letter next Tuesday night.
Well, and we're also, I still don't have a second. We shouldn't be discussing this.
Second.
Okay, second. Councilman Hayes. Also know, I mean, I feel fairly certain that they're not going to have the building down in 4 days. So, and then the
And let me
city would
say-
not be able to take
And let me
action
say to
that
all the
quickly.
folks out there, and I've had a bunch of phone calls on it, I don't think there's one person on this council that don't want to see this happen. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but I
But
don't
I-
think there's one person here that don't want to see this happen.
But I guess
So-
the point is, you're saying in 7 days have a letter, and then we're not going to do anything within 2 weeks. Why not just give them
I
that
think
full
you
2
changed
weeks?
it to that.
No,
Didn't you
he
change
didn't.
it to that?
Yeah.
No.
I think the motion, he said he was going to give them the additional 2 weeks.
That's correct.
Right, but he
But-
had to have the letter within 7 days.
But we need to have the letter by the
Yeah, you-
next council committee meeting,
Which would be
is
2
what he
weeks.
said.
That's right. I want to see it. And
But that's
Well, we
but
can put
that's
it on
not-
the agenda, we just don't have to approve it in that 2 weeks. We don't have to accept it, so, yeah.
You want it on the next work session.
that's exactly right. And I'm okay with giving them 2 weeks, but I just want to see this, and they've already talked to somebody, so it shouldn't be hard to get to what we're wanting.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Hamakawa is asking me if you all would like to amend the rules to allow them to come forward
I'm
and
great
address
with it.
whether or not they think they can have that
I'm great
report.
with it.
So,
Mr. Rogers wants to
Gentlemen.
come forward. I'm glad to hear it for me.
You throw the curve. Yeah, you asked us for something that's going to be really hard. Even Richard Jones told you, he could get it at the next council meeting, maybe.
No, he specifically told me he could have a report by next Tuesday night at the next council committee meeting.
Okay, so that's
2 weeks.
7 days. I haven't talked with Richard. I was told that he was basically retired out of the business and not doing anything. He was my first choice. Jordan worked for him, so I trust either one of them. I will contact Richard and see what he can do to help us out.
And I
we'll
don't
get
think
you-
by this motion that anyone's dictating who you use.
No,
That's who I
just understand
contacted
that,
because the
but I'm
city's
just-
used him
I'm just telling
before.
you that I know both people, and there are only 2 available. And they can get it done faster than anybody else can. We'll do everything in our power to get, and next Tuesday night, we'll come back with a letter from an engineer that says, I don't think the engineer is going to state it, that it's a safe building. We both know that it's a dangerous building because the roof fell in. But
Yeah,
it's
the question
not
is whether
imminently
it's-
dangerous to anybody
Would you,
walking around.
I need you to address the council on the microphone, sorry.
Well, he's the one who made the comment. I'm trying to be his friend. Actually, I'm trying to blame him for it. But,
I guess
he knows.
the question is whether it's imminently
Imminently.
dangerous.
The
law's gonna follow anybody.
imminent part has the part that I've had problems with all along. Is it a dangerous building? I know the building code very well. I was a certified building official for 20 years. I can tell you, yes, it is a dangerous building. It does meet that criteria. Eminently dangerous normally is used to say that the building is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, don't walk under it. And it does need to come down. That building does not need to come down.
Okay.
Well, that's the question before this council, because right now they've declared it imminently dangerous.
Right. Well, y'all
So we
just-
need some evidence to refute that it's imminently dangerous, because under our code, as you know, when it's imminently dangerous, you only have 15 days to
So
do
you have
something.
something to act on. Now, this body can extend that 15 days. It's been done all over the country. I've had it done many times.
Yes, but right now we do have liability if someone was to get
Exactly.
injured.
There is some liability to the city with that, but, you know, that liability is minimum. The whole thing hinges on how fast the engineer can work, and all the engineers I know are, you know, they're blowing and going. They don't have time to do it. The reason he's not here tonight, he's trying to catch up. He's
Well,
behind.
we do know that there is one engineer who said they could have a report next Tuesday, so that's what we're
That's
basing
true.
that request upon.
And, you know, that's something that I'll approach first thing tomorrow.
Yeah,
And see
great.
if I can get Richard on board with the program, and we'll get you guys a report. I just want you to understand that that's not the language that an engineer will use. They'll tell you that it's, I'll try to get him to say that it's not imminently dangerous, if I can all get him to say that. Engineers are notorious for talking engineering. And we've got one in back here that I know, I've known for a long time. He'll probably attest to that. But we'll try to do our best to make this work. It's something that we've just been smothered with phone calls. Everybody involved in this has been covered with phone calls, and I know you guys too. We've got to do whatever we need to do to try to save this building. This is a good step. I have no problem with it. And it's a correct step. We'll get you an engineer's report that says the blocks that are there that are loose are not going to fall over and kill anybody. They don't
I
go
think
that
that's what we
direction,
wanna
they go
know.
in this direction.
And let me go ahead and put it in motion, okay? Sure. What our building official recommended to us, and that is, if we extend this and if we go forward with it, and it's gonna take some time, as you all said, you might need more time.
Yeah.
We're gonna expect you to give us some kind of liability policy that says
Can we do that?
it's off the city,
Okay.
okay? So that's where we'll be at.
Let me explain something.
We'll step through that
We are
as we
not
get there.
personally purchasing this property. I understand where you're coming from with it, and I agree with you to some extent. Unless we can get an insurance company to work with us, it's going to preclude a whole lot of things for us being a nonprofit 501c3 on down the road if we start taking money out of our pocket and putting in it, because
We can play that by the ear,
but
but right now, our motion is to extend this thing for 2 weeks.
and let us come back
Next
with a
week,
report.
have us a letter next Tuesday night.
Okay.
Okay, that's where we'll go with this.
We will do everything in our power to make that happen.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
I just have a comment. I mean, I remember Randy Record Shop back in the day as well. Now, been there several times to purchase records, and I would love to save this building as well, but I really lean a lot to Mr. Stewart, which have already explained to us that this building is dangerous. They said the building is dangerous. Mr. Stewart said the walls are coming in. They said the the walls are coming in because the roof had failed. So if it's just hanging on imminent danger building, I don't feel comfortable. I really don't. And I would love to save Randy Record Shop. I give my last $3.27.
Hey, there's your donation, folks.
But I just don't feel comfortable at this time. I mean, maybe if an engineer come in and give us some stronger support, maybe I can do that, but at this point, I just don't feel comfortable
Well, I
doing
think the
that.
real temperature is it's not coming down in the 4 days that it's being given, and there's no way that the city would be able to act in two immediately thereafter. So, I mean, it's going to be sand in there, so we may in my opinion, we may as well give this a shot. It's not going to change the current stature of the building by us asking for a letter by next Tuesday. That's my opinion.
I just hope no storm and nothing come through with the walls already leaning.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I'm
we
worried
all
about
have to
doing.
hope that, but there's no remedy that could happen between now and then anyway.
Let me address what Mr. Alexander said. You could not take that building down in 4 days. There's an asbestos survey been done. They have located asbestos. To remove the asbestos from the building before its demo is going to take a while. It's going to take them a while. So that being added into the whole pile here. And y'all know me, if there's a gray area in the code, I can find it. But when you get to dangerous buildings, there is no gray area. It's pretty cut and dried what you do and how you do it. So I couldn't find a way. And you know, I'm not for tearing anything down. You know, if you can salvage them, and we've worked with a lot of people on homes here to get them back, that we've worked hard with them, and we worked with this one. But this is, to me, a unique situation. I have tenants in buildings adjoining this building. It sits in a floodplain, Mr. McCord, that has to be addressed. There's many things in this whole scenario here. First step would be a structural engineer telling us that it's not imminently dangerous to collapse.
Yep.
But then there's going to be other things after that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Thank you, gentlemen.
Paige, can I just have,
Right.
have a motion second? This is just further discussion of that, and I'm all for doing what we can do. I am. Just in the details, Susan. TML right now is our insurer of this property, correct? Or you said the liability is on us.
It's not our property, so
I
we
know,
don't have
but
insurance on
if we
this.
have liability, which I've heard as we speak.
We don't have that building covered.
But we're covered. If somebody says we're liable, can you explain? I've heard that as soon as we declared it imminent, then the city then incurred liability. Can you explain what that is?
Well, we have liability if someone is injured. Now, we
Okay.
do have liability coverage on the city, but we don't have it on that particular building because it's not our building.
And it would,
I
and it would be
understand that.
liability.
It would be our negligent, we would be negligent.
If we did not enforce what we dictated on the property. We gave them 15 days, it wasn't
Right.
demolished.
That's where I'm going. The further we extend
Right, that's
this,
where our liability starts.
you know,
That's why we need something from a licensed engineer letting us know the status of that building.
Right. And that's where I'm coming from. The longer we extend, I don't want our insurer for the city to say, wait a minute, y'all were not prudent in this thing.
Right.
I agree with you.
And so I'm assuming then that the developers, Shannon and them, they're going to initiate the request for an engineer and be responsible for that expense. Is that what I heard? Because if we initiate it, they'll be looking for us.
Right.
So they're going to initiate that. Okay.
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Anyone else? All right, this is a vote on the motion that Mr. Overton made to extend this to give them 2 more weeks with a letter coming next Tuesday. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no.
No.
Okay, I have 5 in favor, 1 opposed. Mr. Alexander voted nay. Is that right? 5-6. Item number 2 on the agenda is Resolution R1807-44. Councilman Hayes is recognized.
Yeah, this is a resolution of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 3 parcels consisting of 122.79 acres located east of Big Station Camp Boulevard, north of Lakeland Drive, and south of the CSX Railroad, and providing for an effective date. Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, a second by Vice Mayor Overton. Opening for discussion. Seeing no discussion, this is Resolution R1807-44. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. It does pass unanimously. Item 3 is Resolution R1807-45. Councilman Hayes.
This is a resolution of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, annexing 3 parcels consisting of 122.79 acres located east of Big Station Camp Boulevard, north of Lakeland Drive, and south of the CSX Railroad into the City of Gallatin, authorizing the annexed parcels to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, authorizing assignment of the annexed area to Council District 4, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Mayberry. Is there any discussion? This is Resolution R1807-45. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. It does pass unanimously. Item 4 is second reading, ordinance 01807-32. Councilman Hayes.
Yeah, this is an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, rezoning 122.79 acres from the A Agricultural Residential District to the R8 PRD Medium Density Residential Planned Residential Development District, 48.675 acres, the R6 PRD High Density Residential Planned Residential Development District, 33.795 acres, Mixed Use District, 33.57 acres, and to the PGC Planned General Commercial District, 6.751 acres, with a preliminary master development plan for Westfield. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Alexander. Is there any discussion? This is second reading on ordinance 01807-32. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Item 5 is second reading on ordinance 01807-35. Vice Mayor Overton.
Thank you, Mayor. This order, City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, amending zoning ordinance, Article 13, Performance and Design Standards, Section 13.07, sign regulations to amend the title section for the sign and mural image regulations, and I so move.
Motion by Vice Mayor Overton, second by Councilman Hayes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, this is second reading on ordinance 01807-35. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. A no?
I'll be consistent.
Okay. Did you vote no on, okay, never mind. I know what, I'm getting confused here. So it passes 5-1. Mr. Mayberry had voted no. Item number 6 is second reading on ordinance 01807-36. Councilman Hayes.
Yeah, this is an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, rezoning a 3.09 acre parcel from the R20 Low Density Residential District to the PGC Planned General Commercial District and approving a preliminary master development plan for Miracle Car Dealership. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Alexander. Is there any discussion? Okay, this is second reading on ordinance 01807-36. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. It does pass unanimously. You might want to note that, okay, very good. Item number 7 is second reading on ordinance number 1807-39, and Councilman Mayberry is recognized.
Yes, ma'am. This is an ordinance waiving the tap fees on behalf of Habitat for Humanity at 713 Pace Street. Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Mayberry, second by Councilman Alexander. This is ordinance 01807-39. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. It is passed unanimously. Item 8 is first reading on ordinance 01808-40. Councilman Alexander is recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance appropriating the court recovery from the state of Tennessee in the amount of $400 from the unassigned fund balance of the general fund for damage to Clearview Park, and I so move.
Motion by Councilman Alexander, second by Councilwoman Love. Any discussion? This is first reading on ordinance 01808-40. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. It is approved unanimously. Item 9 is first reading on ordinance 01808-41. Councilman Camp.
I'm going to take this
Oh,
one.
okay, I'm sorry. Well, I saw Councilwoman and Camp, and I'm thinking, okay.
He's been teased.
Councilwoman Love.
I know he's been sick.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, rezoning 2 lots totaling 6 acres from the MRO Multiple Residential and Office District to the IR Industrial Restrictive District located on the southeast side of Airport Road, south of Hartsville Pike, authorizing the revision to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And I so move.
Okay, motion by Councilwoman Love, second by Councilman Camp. Is there any discussion? Okay, this is first reading on ordinance 01808-41. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. It passes unanimously. Item 10 is first reading on ordinance 01808-42. And Vice Mayor Overton, can you take this one, please?
Sure, Mayor. It's ordinance City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, amending zoning order City of Gallatin, Tennessee, Article 2.00, language definitions, Article 14, provision governing non-performing uses, lots and parcels, and I so move.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Overton, a second by Councilman Alexander. Is there any discussion? Okay, this is first reading on ordinance 01808-42. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Item 11 is first reading on ordinance 01808-43. Councilman Mayberry.
Yes, ma'am, this is an ordinance where we are authorizing $3,425,927 being appropriated from the general fund unassigned fund balance for carryover projects. There are 44 of these projects that I will not enumerate unless people want me to, and I doubt that. Also, there's $129,009 to be appropriated from the stormwater fund assigned balance, and that are 3 projects in that regard. There's $206,014 appropriated from the environmental services fund balance for the Capsis Gap post-closure expense. There's also $7,900,408 to be appropriated from the water and sewer fund unassigned fund balance. And there are 12 different projects, and I will not enumerate those. We also have $2,285,074 to be appropriated from the gas fund for carryover projects, and there are 4 of those. Motion to approve each and every one of those, collectively and individually.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayberry. Second by motion by Councilman Mayberry, a second by Vice Mayor Overton. Any discussion? Okay, this is first reading on ordinance 01808-43. All in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. It passes unanimously. Item 12 is resolution R1807-46. Councilwoman Love.
Thank you. This is a resolution of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, adopting a plan of services for the annexation of a 2.31 acre lot located east of Airport Road and north of Hartsville Pike, providing for an effective date. I so move.
Motion by Councilwoman Love, second by Councilman Hayes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, this is resolution R1807-46. All in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Item 13 is resolution R1807-47, and Councilwoman Love.
Thank you again. This is a resolution of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, annexing a 2.31 acre lot located east on Airport Road, north of Hartsville Pike in the City of Gallatin, authorizing the annexed property to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, authorizing the assignment of the annexed area into a council district, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. So,
Motion by Councilwoman Love, second by Vice Mayor Overton. Any discussion? This is resolution R1807-47. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Item 14 is resolution R1808- what? No, 14. You're okay. Usually I'm the one that's wrong. I'm excited. It's resolution R1808-49. Vice Mayor Overton.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a fire service automatic aid agreement between Hendersonville and number 1 fire departments in the City of Gallatin, and I so move.
Motion by Vice Mayor Overton, second by Councilman Alexander. Is there any discussion? This is resolution R1808-49. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. We've already done item 15, so we'll move on to item 16. And this is Resolution R180. Oh, actually, before we do this one, I need approval by this council to discuss this item because we did not bring it up at last week's work session. I have a motion by Vice Mayor Overton, second by Councilman Hayes. A vote on the discussion. Please say aye. Opposed to discussion? Okay, passes unanimously. We may discuss then. It's Resolution R1808-51 and Vice Mayor Overton. And Ms. High McCauley. We'll probably start with her.
This is a resolution requesting election referendum on issues amending City of Gallatin Charter, provide term limits, and I'm gonna let Susan explain what this is.
Yes. Late last Wednesday, I received a call from the State Department of Elections. We need to approve the actual language that is going to be on the referendum ballot. And the County Election Commission is meeting this Thursday, which is why we didn't have time to put it on a council committee meeting. So basically, in this resolution, we go through and explain again that we had sent this to the legislature, that it got adopted. This is what was adopted by the legislature, and then we give the actual language that will be on the referendum ballot for the voters to vote on term limits. You've already approved the actual term limits when you sent it to the legislature. They sent it back to us. We need to approve this language that will be on the referendum
And I
ballot.
so move.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Overton, a second by Councilman Alexander. Nothing to do with how it's worded for the election in November or anything like that? Or is that covered in this?
It's covered.
Okay, very good. Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, this is Resolution R1808-51. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Okay, I have 3 in favor, no, 4 in favor, 2 against. Thank you. Ms. Love and Mr. Mayberry vote nay. That concludes the regular agenda and takes us to other business. I assume that's why you were raising your hand, Vice Mayor Overton, your address.
Yes, I'd just like to point out everybody's got a little card on their desk. It says Buffalo Wild Wings. And anybody in the general public as well. If you're going to Buffalo Wild Wings from now until, I think, November, and you tell them or have one of these cards, they're going to donate 10% off of whatever you spend in there to our new Miracle Park. So I encourage you to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and eat.
And you also get 10% off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get 10% off.
And they donate 10%.
And they're going to donate it to the Miracle Park. So
And there are cards here, there are cards in the mayor's office,
That's
there's
right.
cards at the Civic Center. We'll
So-
get you a card if you're, especially those frequent eaters at Buffalo
please
Wild
call
Wings.
Call Mr. Brown. He'll bring you one. I promise he will.
And big thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings for doing that.
Yeah, we really appreciate them. They're so good to the community. They do it for sports programs and everybody else here, and they saw how good a benefit this is to our community, and they stepped up to the plate. So I appreciate what Buffalo Wild Wings done.
I also wanted to mention, I know we discussed it, or mentioned it at last week's work session, but since we do have a different audience, I also do want to mention, in addition to the LPRF grant, that we were awarded the SAFER grant. Of course, this council's aware of that, but anyone who might be watching us online may not know that. So the SAFER grant's going to provide us with some firefighters. We're very excited about that. And I think that's all I have for other business. What about the rest of you all? Anyone else? All right. Well, now that's going to take us to public recognition on non-agenda related items. That means if you're here this evening, you have something that you'd like to address the council about that wasn't on the agenda, you may do so at this time. We'd ask you to come forward. Mr. DeBoard was in City Hall today, but he's not at the meeting tonight. So we're going to trust that he's okay. We'll call and check on him. Anyone else have something under other business? I mean, not other business, public recognition? Seeing no one, I'll declare public recognition on non-agenda related items closed. And with that, I have a motion to adjourn by Vice Mayor Overton, second by Councilman Alexander. All in favor say aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Everyone have a lovely evening. Safe ride going home. We look forward to seeing you back here.
Yes, sir. You want to talk.
You know anything about it?
What sign?
Red River Warehouse.
I'm not familiar with it, unless he wants to put a new sign up there, then he has to apply for a permit.